Hey everybody, it's Mr. Greg here from the Kindergarten Smorgasbord, and it's time for this month's submissions for Smorgie Live. We're a week late. Normally we do this on the third Wednesday of every month, but the third Wednesday of the month was last week, and we had to go to a New Kids on the Block concert. So we're a week late, but we're here, and this is a first for us. We have a very special guest joining us for about the first 15 minutes of tonight's show. And this is a first. This is Xavier. Say hi.
Hello.
So this is Xavier. He's one of the students from my class. So if you've been a part of any of our submissions for Smorgie Live shows over the course of this school year, you know that Xavier has been a participant in the chat for most of the shows, and he's watched almost all of our submissions for Smorgie Live. And so we thought it would be a lot of fun to have him join us, and so he could actually be on the show, and you guys could ask him questions. And get to know him a little bit since he's been such a big part of the broadcast this year. So before we get to Xavier, I want to take care of some housekeeping. So tonight's show is sponsored by our friends at ESGI. So we'll be giving away 2 one-year licenses to ESGI. It's a $200 value for each of those licenses. And we'll be giving away a $50 gift card to the Kindergarten Smorgasbord's TPT store. So you want to get registered. The way you do that is you go to the website, thekindergartensmorgasbord.com, and you click on the first blog post that you see at the top, and you'll see a raffle copter. All you have to do to enter in the raffle copter is put in your email address. Just enter once, and you'll be entered for both the ESGI and the $50 TPT gift card. So head over to thekindergartensmorgasbord.com and get entered for those awesome giveaways. And again, a huge thank you to our friends at ESGI for being such great friends and great partners and always supporting our submissions for Smorgie Live. And a shout out to Xavier's mom for bringing him over and letting him be a part of our show tonight. So say hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
All right. So I think that's all the housekeeping.
Yep.
All right. So tonight it's an open discussion. So like I said, Xavier will be here for about the first 15 or 20 minutes. So whatever questions you want to ask Xavier, fire away in the chat, and he'll be happy to answer the questions. He told me earlier, he told us he was going to answer all of the questions.
So Greg, I think you could just...
Yeah, I'm just going to go take a nap, hang out with the doodles, and Xavier's going to run the show tonight. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right.
I'm ready to run the show, and you go to sleep.
Okay. All right, here we go with some questions.
All right, so let's see. The first question is from Jean. Jean wants to know, Xavier, what is your favorite part of kindergarten?
Food from Friday and math science.
What was your favorite Foodie Fun Friday that you can remember? Or what are some of the things
The spider.
how did we make the spider? Do you remember?
You mean the lion.
Oh, the lion. How did we make the lion? Graham crackers.
Graham crackers and pretzels.
There you go.
And what are you going to miss most about kindergarten now that you're going on to first grade?
If I sit in a chair, I will not go to first grade.
Yes. So you like being able to sit wherever you want and sit on the floor?
Yes.
Awesome.
So that reference is to what we all know Mr. Greg does in his classroom, which is no tables, no desks. You always get tons of questions about
Tons of
so
questions.
You can see the students love it.
So yeah, so we always get a lot of questions about it. So there you go. So there is first-hand reporting of how awesome no tables, no desks is in our classroom. It's so good, Xavier doesn't want to go to first grade if he has to sit in a chair. But you'll sit in a chair, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
This question is from Tammy Daniels. Tammy wants to know, Xavier, what are your plans for the summer? That's a good question. I'd like to know that too.
What are you going to do all summer?
Jump on my trampoline.
Yeah.
Do you have a big trampoline or a small one like you have in the classroom?
Big one. A regular one, big.
Okay.
Are you guys going anywhere this summer?
My dad.
Anything else you're gonna do?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Just kind of see what happens, huh? This question is from Valerie. Xavier, how awesome was it having Mr. Greg as a teacher this year? Will you miss him next year?
Yes.
What will you miss about him?
I'll miss that he did a lot of fun.
Did a lot of fun stuff.
Yep.
So what was your, earlier you said that you really enjoyed Foodie Fun Friday. What else did you really enjoy? What were some of your other favorite parts?
Math science.
Mad Science. What Mad Science did you enjoy? Which one?
Or can you just remember,
Everything.
can you remember some of the things we did in Mad Science?
A lot of slime.
We made a lot of slime. What else?
Beside
What else? We talked about it. You talked about it this morning when we were talking about all the stuff we did. We made a big mess with something.
volcano.
Yeah, we made some volcanoes.
Oh, that would be fun.
And he think about messy plans over here.
See, told you we like to get messy. That's half the fun of kindergarten, isn't it? Is making a mess.
Right. And we also did flash powder painting.
We did flash water painting.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I got to do that too, didn't I?
Yep, Mr. Jason got to do it too.
We had paint everywhere on that day, didn't we?
Even I got some of my hands from getting all the papers.
That's right.
So Xavier, you said that you like being able to sit wherever you want to. Holly wants to know your favorite spot in the classroom to work.
On the floor. On the floor beside the trampoline.
Why is it that you like sitting on the floor beside the trampoline? What do you like about sitting on the floor versus sitting at a desk or a table? Why do you like that so much better?
Because when I sit in a chair or a desk, I don't like sitting down. I like sitting down, crisscross applesauce, hands in your lap.
Very good.
Does it make you more comfortable when you sit on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
So this question is from Leah Xavier. She wants to know if you have a favorite book to read in the classroom.
Yes.
What is it? Do you know? Or even what it's about if you don't know the name of it?
Mr. Smorgie and D.
What? What book?
D.
D. I don't know what book that is, buddy. Can you think of some of the books that we read this year?
It was Mr. Smorgie.
I don't know what book we read that had Smorgie in it.
No.
Was it the camping book? Oh, Mr. McGee Goes Camping. Okay.
Oh, McGee.
Yes, Mr. McGee. There we go. Yes. Where the bear tried to get the marshmallow?
Yep.
But was it a real marshmallow?
Nope.
No.
He thought it was.
Yeah.
Because the bear can't see really well.
So this is a good question.
Okay.
That's a good question. Really, really good one. This one's from Valerie. And she wants to know if you can think of anything that Mr. Greg can do different to make kindergarten even better. That's a tough question.
Always bring his dog.
Bring the dogs more often, huh?
You think the dogs need to come? We can work on that maybe.
Maybe have a class pet of some kind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even not a dog, that would be hard, but
Even a dog. Even 1,000 dogs. That trained.
Trained? Okay, we'll work on that.
Here's another really good question. This one is from Lauren. Xavier, what has been your favorite costume that Mr. Greg has worn this year?
Dinosaur.
Why?
Because when he gave us the gift, he tried to eat us or scratch us with his claw.
Do you remember what the treats were that the dinosaur gave you?
No.
Dinosaur
Poop.
Dinosaur poop was one of them. What else? Dinosaur claws and dinosaur eggs. Yep.
This question is from Tammy. She wants to know if you will continue to watch Mr. Greg next year for Smorgie Live, even when you're not in his classroom.
Yes! So much.
So much.
I will watch him every time.
So we have I have a guy in my class this year. He has a little brother who'll be in pre-K next year. And Mom was telling me today that the little brother watches our videos. And every time I come on the screen, he yells, "Mr. Greg, Mr. Greg." And when he came into the classroom today for our end of the year celebration, he ran down the hallway to come in. And when he gets in the classroom, Mom has a hard time getting him to leave. Just from watching our videos. So he's ready for kindergarten.
So this isn't really a question, but from Vicky Askew. She came and visited the classroom.
Yes.
And she remembers meeting you, Xavier. And she said, "It's really nice to meet you when we came to visit." She said, "We really enjoyed your class, and thank you for all that you taught us while we were there."
You're welcome.
And then this one is from Envious Beauty. And she says, "Xavier, did you like using Learning Alive?" You know which one that was?
Remember the animals that come alive?
Yes.
You like that?
Yes.
What did you like about it? Or what was your favorite animal? Do you remember?
All of them.
You liked all of them?
Envious Beauty also wants to know what your favorite hippopotamus was.
Oh.
Everything.
You liked them all?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do them all?
Mm-mm.
So which ones did you do most of the time?
I forgot. I forget.
I forget.
All right, so we have 2 more minutes, buddy. Okay?
Okay.
So, there's a lot of questions here.
Uh-oh.
What was your favorite memory of kindergarten?
Your most favorite thing in kindergarten?
Being with you, Mr. Greg.
Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
And what was your favorite thing about morning meetings?
Oh.
One message.
Good morning, Miss.
Morning message. Here's a great one to end on. And this one is from Heather. She says, "Xavier, what advice would you give to the kindergartners coming to Mr. Greg's class next year?"
So if you're going to tell the pre-K kids something, what would you tell them about kindergarten?
It was fun.
And they need to do what?
Learn.
Do you remember what the number one rule was?
Hmm?
What was the number one rule? To keep your
To keep the teacher happy.
And to always be
Your best.
and know.
Rotten bananas.
There you go. All right, Xavier. Well, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Did you have fun?
Yes.
And now you get to see what it's like to be on the show.
Yes, so much.
All right, so say bye to everybody.
Bye.
All right, so Mom's waiting for you. All right, and I will see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. Be good.
Maybe you
All
can
right.
go and keep watching in the car.
Yep.
Yeah.
High five. Good job.
Good job. You're awesome.
Thank you again for joining us.
Bye, buddy. We'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Tell Mama we said bye.
Okay.
All right.
So that's Xavier. And that's what he's like all the time. That was him being Xavier. So again, thank you to Xavier and his mom for letting him be part of our show and for watching every month. That's awesome.
So the reason why I asked him about the like sitting on the floor, I mean, other people were asking the question, of course, but someone asked about what he liked about sitting on the floor or where he liked to sit the most. And when I asked him that, I noticed the whole time he was sitting in a chair, he was wobbling.
Yep.
And so when I asked him why he liked to sit on the floor, I was wondering if he was going to say, and he kind of did say it, because when he's on the floor, he can move around and stuff, and it's not distracting.
Right. And that's again, it goes back to the whole idea of flexible seating and no tables, no desks, is that the kids can have that choice and that control, and they can sit on the floor and they can wiggle and move, and it's not a distraction. And so it's really good for our kids because they can still have that movement and still do their work and learn. Well, that was fun.
So it was a lot of fun. So now that Xavier's gone, we can get to asking Mr. Greg some questions. That is, if you guys.
They probably don't want to now. They're probably
like,
done.
Can you bring
Like,
Xavier back, please?
Right? They see me all the time.
There were tons of questions. There's no way I could have got to them all in the 15 minutes that we had. So
Well,
I tried to just
if you can
randomly pick some.
if you can try to write them down and remember them, I can always sit down with him tomorrow and make a little video. Maybe
Okay.
we can get
I'll
some
go
more of
ahead
those
and try to
questions
grab them all.
answered.
So Lauren says, how awesome, just proof that you develop lasting relationships with your students.
Well, and that's the key, is that it's all about the relationship, because we're in the middle of this classroom management email series right now. And when people ask me about classroom management, the first thing I tell them is you have to build relationships with your kids. It doesn't matter your rules and your procedures and your expectations. None of that really matters until you build that relationship with your kids.
All right, so I've got questions flying in here.
Awesome.
But let me do something. Let me move this chair out of the way.
Time to rearrange the set. It's just like on Oprah. It's like when
So we don't have people to come and move the stuff.
well, that's what I have in my private jet, but
Maybe it's not just like that. All right. So before we get into the questions, a reminder that you need to go over to the kindergartensmorgasbord.com, click on the very first blog post titled Submissions Live May 2017, and get entered for the giveaway. We'll do that giveaway here in about 30 minutes. Tonight we're giving away 2 subscriptions to ESGI and a $50 gift certificate to the Teachers Pay Teacher store, the Kindergarten Smorgasbord Teachers Pay Teacher store. So if you've not entered the giveaway, you need to go and do that right now. We've got 99 people watching. I'm going to look in just a second and see how many entries we have. Another reminder, though, is that if you do enter, you have to be in the chat in order to win. So you have to be logged in and be able to chat, because if we call your name, we need an immediate response in the chat letting us know that you are here. Otherwise, we have to go on and draw another name. So you have to be in the chat live in order to claim your prize. All right. Question. This one is from Valerie. It's an ESGI question. Our school is redoing its Title I program, and I was wondering if you thought ESGI would be good for identifying those that need help easier, and what are they struggling with?
Oh, absolutely. So ESGI is a one-on-one assessment tool, and the way it works is that you sit down with your students one-on-one at your computer or your iPad, and you assess them with yes/no type questions. And so you can use the already created assessments, and
All the joys of living in an
apartment. Right. So this is, again, you're live and we're in an apartment. So you can create your own assessments, or you can use all of the pre-made assessments, including all of my assessments on ESGI. And identifying kids who need help in certain areas is one of the big things about ESGI that I love. So you assess all of your students, and then you can pull up all of the results, and you can see how every student did. You get immediate data, so you immediately can see how they did. You can pull up graphs and see what they're missing the most. You can see how many the kids missed. You can see what they missed. So ESGI would be fantastic for your school to use to identify those kids who need additional help in certain areas. And so that's one of the things I use ESGI for the most. Yeah, I use it for my report card assessments. But when we're in the middle of a skill, I'll pull out my iPad and I'll plop down with the kids and assess them, because it can be done in just a few minutes. So you really can assess on the fly, and you get a really good idea of how the kids are doing on a skill, and you get an idea of who needs some extra help, or you can kind of look and see what they're missing and kind of target your instruction to those areas. So it's phenomenal for targeting kids who need extra help. So yes, absolutely. And you can use the code Smorgie to get your 60-day free trial, and that code will also save you $40 off of your subscription price.
Next question is from Estefana. She says that she's been playing around with the idea of driving the tables and chairs, the no tables, no chairs. What would you recommend would be a good starting point for her?
So if you're wanting to go no tables, no desks, I started the first day of school and I jumped right in. I got the bath mats over the summer, so I had those ready to go. I made sure I had clipboards ready to go for the kids. Of course, I went to my administration, went to my principal, talked to him about it, got the tables moved out. I kept 2 tables in the beginning just because I wasn't sure how it would go. And I was terrified because it could have gone horribly wrong. But after the first day and I realized it was going to go so well, I got rid of 1 table. So I always keep 1 table. So we do have 1 table in the classroom, plus my guided reading table. So I think if you're wanting to go no tables, no desks, with that, you just kind of jump right in. And especially if you're wrapping up the school year, I know some teachers recently, they had like 4 or 5 weeks left. And so they went ahead and got rid of their tables as kind of an end of the year experiment to see how it would work and see what they thought about it. So you could do that. But like I said, I think jumping right in on the first day of school is the easiest way to go no tables, no desks. If you're looking to do more flexible seating, you can really implement that tomorrow, because with flexible seating, it's all about the choice. And it's just a matter of giving the kids choice on where they work. So they can sit at their table, they can sit on the floor, they can lie on the floor, they can stand up. But if you're thinking of going with no tables, no desks, start on the first day of school and jump right in.
This question is from Shoff, S-H-O-F. Advice for how to pack up your room for the summer. Always stresses me out.
Oh, me too. And I think if you're naturally awesome at being organized, I think it's great. I think packing up at the end of the year is no big deal. If you're like me and you have great intentions of being awesomely organized and then it doesn't turn out that way, it's just always a hot mess. Purge, I think that's important. I was very proud of myself. I have almost 2 full shelves in my closet empty from where I've purged. My plan is on Friday is to go through all of my center tubs and kind of purge those. So I'll be doing that. I think so. Purging is important. And just trying to keep it organized as you pack, labeling boxes. And every school is different and every district is different with what they require. I remember last year in our school, they were even waxing our closets. So everything had to come out of the closets. So that was a mess. Luckily this year they're not doing that. So we get to just kind of stack our stuff up out of the way. So I think purge, get rid of stuff, donate stuff, and just try to be as organized as possible. Label boxes. Make sure you put stuff that could get broken somewhere that it's not going to fall or get knocked over in a move. Like I know we have to put our computers on our cabinets so they don't get moved. And I'm sure people in the chat probably even have some ideas and some tips for you for packing up. But I think purging is probably a key because we acquire so much stuff. I won't use the word hoarding because that's not what we do, because we will use all of that stuff eventually. Like maybe in 20 years, but those toilet paper tubes will get used. So it's not hoarding.
Okay, this question is from Lauren. What are the key things to do in order to develop close relationships with your students?
So the first thing I think you do is spend time with them. And I don't mean spend time with them in small groups. I think you have to spend time with them. And I mean like genuinely spend time with them, whether that's in a morning meeting or what I chose to do this year. And I think this has been a major factor in the relationship that I built with my kids was I eat lunch with my kids every day. I don't have to. In fact, Tennessee state law says that teachers get a 30-minute duty-free lunch. But I chose to give up that time, and I ate lunch with my kids every single day this year. I took my lunch at 10:30, and I sat down there at the lunch table with them every single day. And I think that played a major impact in the relationship that I built, because that was just our time. It was time to talk and laugh and be silly and be goofy. And I could ask them questions, and we talked about all kinds of stuff. And that's really, I think, when we bonded, because it wasn't a classroom setting. It wasn't learning. It was just us hanging out and having lunch like you would go to lunch with your friends. So that's a big one. And the other thing I think is morning meeting. That morning meeting time is sacred in our classroom, and that 20 minutes allows us to bond. That's our time to come together. Everybody gets greeted. We share all the things that are happening in our lives. And so that morning meeting time also is a key to building those relationships. And the other thing is you just have to be fun and silly and let them know that you're a person and that you want to know them and let them into your life because we really need them as much as they need us. Swing with them at recess, play at recess, sit down on the floor and work with them in their centers and talk to them while you're working. It's just finding that time and putting in the time to build those relationships. But when I started eating lunch with them every day, I didn't think much about it. I knew we were enjoying it and it was fun. But when I look back over it now that we're at the end of the year, like today we took our last lunch selfie, and it was like, this has really been a major influence in our classroom this year because that's been a very special time for us.
This question is from Denise. What does your last day of school look like?
So we actually have a half day tomorrow. So the half day is just, some of our kids come, some of them don't. So tomorrow, I don't really count that as our last day. So what we did today was we had our last full day. And so we had an awards day for kindergarten in the morning. So we got our awards, principal's list, honor roll, perfect attendance. And then I pulled out all of the kids' work that I had kept throughout the year. Because I don't send home, when they do independent work, I don't send that home. I hang on to that. And so I pulled that all out this morning. And yeah, it's a massive stack of papers about this big. And so they were like, oh my gosh. And we had this big conversation about all the things that we had learned and how much all that work that we had done. And so then we passed all of that back out, and they had a blast going through all of that stuff and talking about all the stuff that we did. And then what we do in the afternoon is we invite our families in and we watch our end of the year video, which I've posted here on YouTube and on Facebook, so you can check that out. And then I give out awards to my kids. But these aren't awards, because we did the academic awards, the school awards in the morning. So what we do with these awards, these are our personal awards where I recognize each of my students for being who they are and being unique. And so I sit down and I think about the kids and I give them awards for things that stood out. So like Xavier, who was just here, he got the personal assistant award this year because he took care of me all year. If I needed something, he got it. If I forgot something, he got it. If I needed an errand, he got it. His mom
would take care of me when I would come in to visit.
Right. And well, his mom works in the office, so he knows everything. If I needed information, I just asked Xavier because he always knew more about what was happening than I did. And so I'm trying to think. I gave out a couple of improvement awards. I gave out the fashion award to one of our little boys because he always came in these little hip, trendy little outfits with these cute little hats. Even though it wasn't hat day, he rocked the hats. And so it's just, I chose to do those. I started doing those several years ago, just as a way to recognize the kids. And these are things that we've talked about all year. I have a little girl who has the most beautiful hair from what I can tell, but it's always up in a bun or it's always up in a ponytail. And I can just tell that there's a lot of hair. And all year I've asked her to see her hair and she refuses to take it down for me. And so she got the hair award today. And that meant something to her because that's something we've talked about all year. So they're fun awards, but there's meaning behind them. And so it's very, very simple. I don't do anything big and elaborate for our last day because it's more about just being together and celebrating with the kids and just kind of walking down memory lane with them. And so I always read the book, I Knew You Could. So I read that this morning, and then we talked about what it was like on the first day of kindergarten. We talked about what it was like today. Lots of tears were shed. Yesterday and today, so that's always hard. So it's a very simple day for us, just honoring all the things that we've done and who we've become and the time we've spent together.
So we saw B for bubbles. What was A for?
Apples. So they ate apples. And it worked out perfect because the mister came in today and surprised them all and brought them all Happy Meals. And so they all got apples with their Happy Meals.
I thought it was going to be A for awards.
And A for awards, and all done.
All right, next question is from Laura. Mr. Gregg, when you reflect on the past school year, what would you say What are your 3 best must-do agains and your 3 things that you will change next year?
So the must-dos, boot camp was huge. And when I was looking at report card stuff and looking back through our ESGI data the past couple of days, looking at their growth, because for each child, you can see their history and their growth on a graph. And I was looking back at the skills that we did with boot camp, and you could see the pre-test and the post-test and just the growth after doing boot camp, whether it was ABC boot camp, number boot camp, vowel boot camp, blends boot camp, shapes boot camp, addition boot camp, subtraction boot camp, all of those boot camps, before and after, the growth was tremendous. So definitely we'll continue to do boot camps. Morning meeting, of course, will be a must do. And our end of the day dance party. That was a new thing this year. We'd always kind of sang at the end of the day. We always, turn on the music and kind of sang. And dismissal has always been one of my weak area because it's just kind of chaotic, kids everywhere trying to get packed up. So doing the dance party this year, we had done Go Noodle in the past and it had been great. But implementing the dance party this year, again, was a little bit about that relationship and celebrating all that we've done at the end of the year. So definitely we'll do our end of the day dance party. We'll be back with the music and the lights. And 3 things that I want to improve or change or do differently. I always say I want to be organized, but it never happens. But I'm working on it. I always want to be organized. Vocabulary is an area where I think I could do a much better job, and especially working with EL kids. When I was doing their TLAs, their running records, and just in general, reading with them. Vocabulary is an area that I really need to focus on next year. And I've already started kind of thinking about how I want to do it. And I'm talking to my grade level coach and one of my instructional coaches, and coming up with a plan for next year for vocabulary. And guided reading. I think I want to work on getting better at guided reading. I think I love guided reading. I love that time. Looked at some research recently talking about the importance of phonics, and so maybe pulling in a little more phonics into the guided reading time, using some more decodable readers in guided reading. So vocabulary, organization, guided reading will probably be the 3 areas that I focus on next year. And there might be, I'm not saying that there is, but there might be a new twist on the mustache thing next year. The mustaches aren't going anywhere, but something else might be coming in.
This was from Sarah. What is your advice for first-year teachers?
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Teaching is so isolating and it's so overwhelming. It's so isolating because we're in our classrooms all day with our doors closed. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, whether that's people in your school, whether it's teacher friends, or whether it's social media, online. Reach out, ask for help, ask for support. I think back to my first year, and I didn't do that, and I didn't have a lot of support. I had one, at the time we called it a PALS program, and he came in once every couple of weeks and worked with me on morning meeting and classroom management stuff, and it was a lifesaver. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And I know there's always this pressure to do it and to be great and be perfect. And that asking for help can be a sign of weakness, but don't be afraid to ask for help. Reach out. We're here if you need help. I'm sure anybody in the chat would be willing to help you, Facebook, Instagram, but ask for help if you need it. Ask for ideas. And because again, we're so isolated all day, but you want to make sure that you reach out and ask for help.
Next question is from Tammy. Can you still access ESGI data from this year, next school year, or do I need to print off reports now?
You can. I'm 99.9% sure you can continue to access it. I don't know if they're here. If anyone's from ESGI is, I'm almost positive you can access it because I'm pretty sure I can go back and look at my kids from the past.
I would suggest reaching out to ESGI to confirm 100%. Yeah. They're great about responding. So if you just go to their website, there's a contact there, a contact link, and they'll let you know for sure 100%. Next question is from Marina. Have you used Class Dojo before, and what do you think about it?
I have not. And the one thing I can say is that our district kind of pushed it a couple of years ago, and then last year they told us to not use it. There was some concern about some privacy and some data stuff, so I don't use it. So I don't know anything about it. I've heard both sides, good, bad, so I can't really talk about it because I don't know.
So you were talking about ABC Boot Camp.
Yes.
When you teach the alphabet or do your alphabet boot camp, what order do you do the letters in?
So with ABC Boot Camp, we go from A to Z. So we start with A, we just go a letter a day for 26 days to letter Z. But with ABC Boot Camp, it's designed to be completely flexible, so it will work with any curriculum, any scope and sequence, any district plans, and you can use ABC Boot Camp to teach the letters in any order. It's really completely flexible, and you can do a letter a day, you can do a letter every 2 days, a letter a week. It's really designed to work with what you need to do in your classroom. But we go A to Z just because we chose to do that about 5 years ago when we started ABC Boot Camp, and we've had amazing results with doing it in order. We don't really work, when we're doing ABC Boot Camp, because I get a lot of questions about, well, if you do it in order, they can't build words. That 26 days of ABC Boot Camp is really intense with sounds and letters. And so we really aren't building words during that time. We start some sight words, but we're not doing any word building. We're spelling words and we're learning words, but we're not necessarily blending words. So that's why we go in A to Z order, because after ABC Boot Camp, we move into Word Family Boot Camp and we start using the sounds to build words. But that 26 days for us is that really intense focus on letters and sounds, because when we wrap up ABC Boot Camp after that 26 days, we want our kids to have a really good foundation with letters and sounds so we can jump right into word building, and we've seen tremendous growth compared to before and after boot camp, ABC Boot Camp. And we do it in order, A to Z.
So something else you can do for a quick resource is go to the Resource Center on kindergartensmorgasbord.com, click on the Resource Center, and then click on ABC Boot Camp. There you'll find tons of information on exactly how Mr. Greg uses it in his classroom. There's links to other posts in there, as well as links to some videos that will be helpful. So I highly recommend that you check that out. You can also find information in there about Number Boot Camp and all the other boot camps that we currently have. Next question is from Kara. I know that relationships are the key to management. What do you do when a kid joins the class really late? I had one come in after spring break with a very large personality. What do I do?
It's hard when they come in, even if they come in, in October, because you've really solidified some of those relationships. But you just you have to invest the time into building that relationship with that child. And it might mean you focus a little bit more on that child because they are new and because they do need a little bit more guidance and support. But invest in some of that time to get to know them just like you did the rest of the class at the beginning of the year. And you'll gain that time back once you build that relationship. And I always encourage, when I get a new student in, I always encourage my kids to be the teacher. And I always say, so, we have a new friend in our class, and so it's your job as the leaders in our class to show them how we do things and where things are and how things work in our classroom and what all the things that you're supposed to do and what Mr. Greg expects you to do. And so that helps too, because that makes the kids feel more powerful and empowered, and they want to kind of be the teacher and they want to be the leader. But get to know that child and embrace that big personality and find ways to use that personality, that big personality, in positive ways and in helpful ways in your classroom. So just a reminder, we only have about 5 more minutes to get signed up for tonight's giveaways. Again, we're giving away 2 1-year licenses to ESGI, and we're giving away a $50 credit to the Kindergarten Smorgasbord Teachers Pay Teacher store. So if you've not entered yet, you need to head over to the kindergartensmorgasbord.com, click on the very first blog post. In there, you'll see the instructions on how to enter, but you need to go and do that right now. Another reminder, you must be in the chat and be listening for your name to be called, because if we call your name, we need an immediate response in the chat letting us know that you're here so that you can claim your prize. If we don't get a response really quickly, we'll go ahead and draw another name. So if you've entered your name for the giveaways tonight, make sure you're watching and listening. Make sure you can type in the chat so that you can let us know that you are here. Again, you've got about 5 minutes left to do that. Again, it's the kindergartensmorgasbord.com. It's just our website.
Next question. This one's from Stephanie. We eat breakfast in our room. Do you? And if you do, how do you handle it with no tables?
We do eat breakfast in the classroom, and the kids use restaurant trays for their breakfast. And so when they come in the morning, they get their tray, they get their breakfast, and they sit down and they eat. So the trays keep the food off the floor. The trays contain the spills when they happen, not if, because they do happen. And then it makes cleanup easy. When the kids are done, they just pick up their tray, they dump it in the trash, and we have wipes laying on the table, and they get a wipe and they wipe down their tray and they're done. So that's how we handle it.
This question is from RQ 2012. Can you share some of your math routines? I have some kindergartners who cannot write numbers. Any suggestions or daily practice?
So daily practice, we do calendar every day. And within that calendar, the kids are writing the numbers and learning their numbers. So that's a great way to work on numbers every day. Calendar time is a great way to work on a lot of skills every day. And you meet a lot of standards very quickly with calendar time. You can implement daily number writing practice, kind of like you would do daily handwriting practice. For numbers, I do a PowerPoint, and it's free on my blog if you want to go find it. You can just type in number PowerPoint. It's just numbers of 20, and I just put them in random order. And we just click through the slides quickly. We're trying to build up that number recognition, so that's a good one. You can do number flashcards. We also do the number race, and this isn't more of a one-on-one activity, but it's there's a couple of videos and a blog post about this, but it's just a piece of construction paper, numbered to 10 or numbered 11 to 20, random order, index cards with the numbers. They turn the card over, they say 4, they match it to 4 on the construction paper. When I do it with the kids, we play 3 times. First time is practice. The second time we time ourselves to see how fast we are. The third time we time ourselves to see if we can beat our first. It's always one of the most effective things I do in my classroom for number recognition. Usually after a couple of weeks of playing that game, their number recognition goes way up. And another real quick for number writing, chalkboards and chalk are very effective when you're learning to write numbers or letters, because the friction of the chalk and the chalkboard builds muscle memory. And so it's much better for our kids when they're learning to write letters or numbers.
So something else I want to make sure that, because I've heard you say it several times now about how you can go to the blog and type this in and find it. You can find just about anything you want to know by going to the kindergartensmorgie.com and going to the search bar in the upper right-hand corner and typing in whatever. So if you want to know about morning meeting, type in morning meeting, and you're going to pull up several blog posts, because Greg's been blogging now for like 7 years. And for the first several years, it was on a daily basis. So you can find tons of his ideas and videos that way. There's also tons of videos right here on YouTube for you to watch. So go to our YouTube page like you are right now. You can go up to the search and type in whatever it is you're looking for. And more than likely, you're going to find some videos there too. Yep. So just as an FYI, so if you want to do a little research on your own and go out there and find some stuff, we have some time. That is a great way to do it.
Or, if you're really bored this summer, you can go all the way back to the very first blog post 7 years ago, and you can just make your way through the whole blog for your summer professional reading. There you go.
So Xavier has already joined us. Hi, Xavier.
Hey, Xavier.
All right. Next question is from Michelle. What is your favorite classroom management strategy?
The doorbell. I have to go with the doorbell. So how can I put this nicely? So I don't like it for people to clap at me. So think about when we're in a workshop or you go to an in-service and all the teachers are talking and the presenter is ready to start and they clap. It drives me crazy. And then there's also call and response. But what I found with clapping and call and response is that it generates more noise, because the kids are clapping or they're responding to you. And the whole point is I need to get them quiet quickly because I need to tell them something. I need their attention. So I use a wireless doorbell. And so you can buy them at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot for about $10. I got my new one on Amazon. I think it was like $15. It's green, so it's bright green. The little button lights up, so it's a little more fancy. Plug the receiver into the outlet. I hot glue the button on a clothespin and I wear it on my shirt or my lanyard. And anytime I need my kids to get quiet, I just ring the doorbell. The doorbell rings, bing, bing, and the kids know to stop, put their hands down, put their bubbles in their mouth, and look at me. And so there's no extra noise happening. There's no clapping, call and response. That doorbell rings, they stop, they get quiet. So that's my number one classroom management tip. And then if you have somebody like Xavier who sneaks into your classroom after school and they change the doorbell chime and you don't know it, and the doorbell rings the first time you ring the doorbell the next day, everybody thinks it's hilarious.
This next question is from Envious Beauty. My school staff isn't the most friendly, and there's a lot of activities to participate in. I'd love to help change that, but how can I start?
Number one, I think you're on the right track. You have the desire. Do you want to change it? So that's one way. Spread kindness. We have a staff shout out board. So we have a board in our hallway where people can hang up little notes and stuff to shout out each other. That's great. Happy classrooms. That is a great way, I think, to build that community within your school. So you can take that happy classrooms message to your coworkers. We've done Secret Santas. We've done Halloween. We got booed, where we all got little gifts. This year we had at our school, and I still don't know who it is, but I want to figure this out before the end of the year. We have a quote bandit, and so we always get little encouraging notes left in our mailboxes. And so I think it takes one of us or a group of us to kind of start building that relationship. But the Happy Classrooms message and the Happy Classrooms mission is great for that, because it's all about focusing on the positive. So maybe that's something you can take to your school and your teachers and get them to start talking about all the great things that are happening in the school, getting them to share the Happy Classrooms things that are happening in their classrooms, and start to build some of that excitement for what's happening in your building. And it's hard. I know it can be really, really hard. But I think if we have in our buildings, if we have groups of people or one person who kind of starts that, I think it starts to spread. So kudos to you for taking the lead and trying to change that.
Have you ever thought about using a shout out board in your classroom?
Oh, I haven't. That's a good idea.
Someone asked that if you use.
That's a really good idea. Last year we did, and I didn't do it this year for some reason, but last year we did Positive Post-it Note Day, where all the kids got Post-it notes and they wrote positive notes to each other and put them on their cubbies, and that was awesome. So we loved that. But I like the shout out idea in the classroom, and maybe not even a shout out board, but maybe just having them once a week talk, share something that they like about their friends or that their friends have done that have been awesome. Just again, back to building that community and building that relationship.
This question is from Holly. Mr. Gregg, I have a question about your calendar. Do you just have the calendar on the smart board, or do you have one displayed on the wall as well?
Just on the smart board. We have the date written on our whiteboard, so the date is always up, but I don't have a calendar on display in the classroom. We just see the calendar when we do our calendar time on the smart board during our math block.
This question is from Allison. Do you use a behavior chart in your classroom?
So I do not this year. I've used the clip chart in the past, and I think the clip chart is a great tool if it's used correctly. I know there is a lot of people out there who are against it, and that's fine. We do what works for us in our classroom, so if you don't use it, if you don't like it, that's perfectly okay. I do use it. I think it gives the kids a lot of ownership and buy-in to their behavior, gives them some responsibility for their behavior. It makes parent communication easy. So I started this year. I've used the clip chart for several years. I started with it this year, but about 2 months into the school year, everybody was off the chart every day. I had honestly, y'all, I could not have been blessed with a better class this year. I had no behavior issues. And so I stopped using the clip chart because there was just no need for it. And it was just one of those things that went, and I need it, so we didn't use it. I will start next year using the clip chart, and if we need to phase it out, we'll phase it out. And this year, if behavior had gotten to be a challenge, we would have phased that clip chart back in. So I do use the clip chart. When I use my clip chart, I use it it's 99% positive. I almost never clip anyone down. Sometimes we have to clip people down, and that's okay. It's just all in how we do it and all in how we handle it. I don't call people out when I clip them down. I will go over and say, hey, I need you to move your clip down. And we talk about what happened and we talk about why. And another way that the clip chart I've used it is for those kids who get overlooked because they're always doing the right thing and they're always making good choices. And they're the ones who sometimes get overlooked. So I think the clip chart is a great tool in the classroom if it's used appropriately.
Quick question about calendar. Can you share your calendar with us, or is there somewhere you recommend that we can get one?
My calendar is on TPT. It's in my TPT store. There are a couple of different versions. There's a mustache one, a monster one, and then a generic one. Not a monster one, I'm sorry, a candy one. Mustaches, candy, and then a generic one. So mine are on TPT. It's called I Must Ask You the Date. And the way it works is you download it, it's a PDF, and you also get the image files. So you can just import the PDF or the image files into your Smartboard software, and you can make it an interactive calendar.
This question is from Heather. Do you give formal assessment tests other than ESGI? And if so, where do the students sit?
No, we don't. It's just we do ESGI. They do independent work a lot of times, and that will be things that I use for an assessment. And they just spread out all over the classroom. And I've also heard, I know a lot of schools who do flexible seating and no tables, no desks, who do give formal assessments, who do give state assessments, and they just let their kids sit wherever they want. Just because with testing, one of the rules is that it's their normal environment. So they get to be in their normal environment for testing.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
This question is from Lauren. I know you've gone to no homework. What do you do when you face opposition to this from parents or admin?
I'm very lucky. Admin was totally on board with me when I went to talk to him about no homework last year, but I also went in with research and went in as an experiment. So I started last February with no homework, and so I went to my admin and said, this is the research that I'm reading. This is what I'm hearing about homework. I want to try this. He said, do it for 2 months. We'll see if we notice any change. There was absolutely no change up or down in their performance. So I was allowed to continue no homework. I explained it at the beginning of the year to parents, and I've been lucky, knock on wood, that I have not had any pushback. I actually spoke to a mom today at our end of the year celebration, and she said that last year her son was bringing home homework every night, over the weekend, and over every break. And she was talking about how hard it was and how he wasn't enjoying school. And so how she was talking about how much this year was different. She said homework is good for them because it builds responsibility. She said, but it's been really good for him not to have it this year. So I think if you present it to parents, explain the thinking behind it, because for me, we work so hard all day, every day. They need to go home and be kids. They need to go home and play and run and get dirty. And so that was my thinking behind no homework. But I think just explain it to parents, give the reasoning, give the research behind it, and let them know that there's a reasoning behind what you're doing, not just that you don't want to give homework.
So you've mentioned the research. What is the research? Is there somewhere that they can go to get that, or? You can you can Google research about no homework. Basically what it shows for early childhood is that there's no benefit to homework academically. Sometimes some research shows that it might even be a little detrimental. But my kids know their homework is read, practice your sight words, and play. What behavior system do you use? Do you send home info home each day? So you just kind of talked about that.
I talked about that with the clip chart. So I would send home, when I use the clip chart, I send home a behavior calendar that the kids color at the end of the day. It's their behavior, so it's their responsibility to communicate that to mom and dad with their folder. So I would send that folder home every day. This year, once I stopped using the clip chart, I explained it to the parents, and I let the parents know that if they needed to know if something happened, if there was an issue, I would let them know. I'd be in contact at the end of the day. But if they didn't hear from me, then they knew that their kids had a good day at school and that they didn't need to worry about it.
This question is from Jean Hahn. Do you have a video on the dance party for the end of the day?
We have one there are a couple on Facebook, but we need to get them uploaded to YouTube, but they are out there on Facebook. And I mean, it's a dance party. We turn on, this year, our 2 songs were Roar by Katy Perry and Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake.
And they know all the words.
All the words. So, we have our LED lights in our classroom. So I set those to flash. turn the lights off. Our lights are flashing. The music is all the way up. So they're singing and dancing. And as they're singing and dancing, I'm calling them to go pack up. So when I call their name, they bounce on the trampoline and then they go pack up. So I do about 3 or 4 kids at a time. So they're all packing up. And as they make their way back, every time one comes back to the circle, I send the next one to go bounce and pack up. So it really helps with that dismissal chaos.
Because if you want to see that in action, just go you're right on Facebook and just scroll back and you'll see some live videos of kids doing it. Maybe on Instagram too, but for sure on
definitely on Facebook, yeah. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun at the end of the day. And that's what you want. I want to send them home happy and excited. And I want to end our day on a happy, positive note because we've worked hard. We've learned a lot that day. So I want them to go home happy and excited.
All right, so let's do the giveaway, shall we?
Yay, giveaways.
8 o'clock. So tonight we're giving away, as we've already discussed, we're giving away 2 one-year licenses to ESGI software. And we're also giving away a $50 gift card to the Kindergarten Smorgasbord Teachers Pay Teachers store. Greg, you want to tell them a little bit about ESGI for those that maybe in the chat and don't know and how they can sign up?
Yeah, so ESGI is a one-on-one assessment tool that will make your assessment and data collection super easy, super fast. I did all 20 of my kids, all the report card assessments in one day. Knocked them out, done. It's one-on-one, so your students sit next to you with your computer or your iPad, and it's yes/no questions, so you're just clicking yes, no. You get immediate data. It pops up in a little pie graph of it. They want to be tested. They want their turn. They love seeing that graph pop up. I actually had one. I have a picture of it. So I was testing her this week, and she was clicking yes or no. And so she was just kind of running her own assessment. But the kids love it. I love it. It's super easy. You can create your own assessments, or there are hundreds of preloaded or pre-made assessments on ESGI to cover all skills and standards. If you go to their partners page, you'll see my big, beautiful smile, and you can click on my face, and you can access all of my assessments that I've created for ABC Bootcamp, Number Bootcamp, Shapes Bootcamp, Addition and Subtraction Bootcamp. All of those assessments are there, and once you sign up, you have access to all of those. So ESGI says it'll save you about 400 hours a year, so it's totally worth it. It is my #1 must-have in the classroom because it just makes assessment super easy, and I can sit down with parents, or we can go into meetings, and all of that data is there. They have all kinds of reports and graphs, and you can put kids in groups, and you can look at the group data. So you really can do a lot with ESGI. So every classroom needs it. So you can go to esgisoftware.com and sign up. Use the code Smorgie, and that will get you a 60-day free trial. And that code will also save you $40 off of the subscription price. And once you try your 60-day free trial, you're going to want to sign up and get it for the whole year.
All right, so tonight's first winner of 1 year of ESGI, that's a $200 value. Our first winner tonight is Leanne Snyder. That's Leanne Snyder. If you're here, please type mustache in the chat. Again, if you're here, type mustache in the chat to let me know that you're here. Leanne Snyder.
That must be the secret word, like on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yes.
And there was no drum roll or turkey call tonight. Where were we? We did something live recently, and some lady.
She had a drum roll or something, didn't she?
We were giving something away, and somebody commented and said, "Hey, where's the turkey call?"
Leanne's here!
Yay! Congratulations,
Woo!
Leanne!
Congratulations. Oh, it's actually Lauren. It says Leanne in the Rafflecopter. That's cool. Okay, we got you. So
yay!
We will get your information to ESGI, and they will reach out to you. Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's her. Okay, there are 2 Snyders. She says Lauren Snyder. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Wait, everybody's typing back and forth. Okay, so this email address, the winner is whoever has this email address. L Snyder 7986 at Hotmail. L Snyder 7986 at Hotmail. That is the winner. Yeah, that's her, Leanne Snyder. All right, so we'll get your info to ESGI, and they'll be reaching out to you to let you know what to do to claim your prize. Super simple. They'll get you set up with your first year. Got you, Leanne. Awesome. So our next giveaway, this is for a $50 gift card to the Kindergarten Smorgasbord Teachers Pay Teachers store. And the way this is going to work, if you're the winner, you'll get an email from us, and we'll tell you just to go to the store, pick out $50 worth of product, and email us back with those that you want, and we'll email you links to download those. So again, if you're in the chat, if your name is called, type the word mustache in the chat to let me know that you're here. And tonight's winner is, best drum roll I got, Stephanie Hoff. That's Stephanie Hoff, H-O-F. Stephanie Hoff, if you're here, please type mustache in the chat to let me know that you're here.
Congratulations, Stephanie.
I'm going to type her name in here too, just because sometimes the video is a little behind. Oh, there she is.
Yay! Congratulations, Stephanie.
Congrats, Stephanie. So I'll be sending you an email shortly on what to do to claim your prize. And our last giveaway for tonight is another 1-year subscription to ESGI software. Again, that's a $200 value. Again, if your name is called, please type mustache in the chat to let me know that you're here. And our second winner for ESGI is Sealy Faircloth. Sealy Faircloth.
The neighbors are probably wondering what's going on.
C-E-L-I-E Faircloth. Is that, am I pronouncing that right? Sealy? S-C-E-L-I-E?
So Celia, if you're here, say mustache in the chat, and we'll know that you're here. You can get your ESGI prize.
So we're just waiting for, there she is.
Yay, congratulations.
Congratulations. So again, Celie, we'll get your info to ESGI, and they'll be reaching out to you directly. So just be on the lookout in your email for something from ESGI. So congratulations to all 3 of our winners tonight.
Woohoo!
Thank you for entering our giveaways. And that's all we have. We have tons of questions left.
Do you want
So
to
you want to do the lightning round?
Yep, let's do a lightning round before we wrap it up.
So the way the lightning round works, folks, is I'm going to ask Mr. Greg the questions. He's going to answer them quickly, and we're going to move on to the next question. So if you've asked a question that's not been answered yet, you should get it answered right here and now. If for some reason I missed your question, just go ahead and retype it in the chat here, and I'll get it asked real quick because we're going to fly through this, let you guys get on with your evening. First question is from Hey Jesse. What was your favorite memory with this class?
Oh gosh. Glitter bombs.
The question is from Stephanie. Do you have to set goals for your students? And if so, what does your school require you use for data? Is it ESGI?
We don't have to set goals, and we use ESGI for our data. We also use FAST for our benchmarking.
This question is from Jessica. I have a ton of EL kids in my pre-K class and expect even more next year. Any suggestions on best ways to build their vocabulary and language skills?
Talk. Let them talk to them. My kids talk all day long, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons that they learn to build their vocabulary is because they're talking all the time.
This question is from Stephanie Hoff. I'm wanting to implement morning meeting in my classroom, but 2 days out of my 6-day cycle, they have specials first thing in the morning. Will this throw off my routine? Do we just do it after specials?
For those 2 days, I would do it after specials. For the other days, I would do it first thing in the morning.
This question is from Cindy. Are all of your kids experienced learners, or do you have kids that haven't been in a school setting?
I have some kids that go to pre-K, and I have some kids that have never been to school until the day they walk into my classroom.
From Miss Cole, do you use words their way sorts?
Yes.
There's another question that goes along with that. Go ahead.
And there's actually a blog post, a blog series on how I use words their way. So you can search for word study. I think it'll pull up.
This is from Miss Blunt's classroom. Do you have any posts or videos about how you start your first week in kindergarten? I've enjoyed watching your morning meeting the past few months. Are there some from August?
Yes, there are videos from the very first day of school. There's videos from our first morning meetings, how we introduced the center wheel, how we introduced centers. It's all, yeah.
So right here on YouTube, just go to the search and type in morning meeting, and you're gonna find them.
Yeah.
There'll probably be several there, so you'll have to, kind of search through them. Yeah. From Trisha, I get a 1 hour block to teach an entire day's reading. Do you have suggestions on what to make my primary focus during that time? Guided reading, phonics, etc.
I would do interactive read aloud and guided reading, because the guided reading would give you, and centers, so that will give you time for your kids to practice on skills and centers, and you could be working with kids in guided reading, and then your interactive read aloud, you can work on comprehension and vocabulary and reading strategies.
From Natalie, what procedures do you have in place for community supplies that work well for your kiddos?
Now, number one, it's not my stuff, it's our stuff. So if you tear it up, if you break it, you have to deal with your friends and not with me. We do at the beginning of the year, we do our back to school research project. It's our very first research project of the year. You can find it on Teachers Pay Teachers. And we go through each of the supplies and how to use them, how not to use them. And we do modeled lessons for how to use every supply. And so that helps. And then the big thing is when we're getting supplies, especially if we do it at the same time as the whole group, we set on our circle carpet, and I'll say, okay, stand up, and you're gonna follow AC. And so everybody we just go in a line around the circle, kind of to keep the flow going.
From Shauna, what is your favorite TPT product you've created?
ABC Bootcamp, hands down.
From Megan, what's your district's math curriculum?
We use Go Math, and we also have Journeys for reading.
From Ms. Blunt's classroom, does your district have a standards-based report card or skills-based?
Both. We have so they get a letter grade ESN URP, and then we score them on all the standards. It's 1 to 3 for the standards.
From Lauren, how do you utilize the trampoline in your classroom, and how do you keep students from fighting over it?
It's a behavior incentive. So when they come in the morning, they get to bounce in the classroom. Everybody gets to bounce during the dance party, and then for the rest of the day, it's just a behavior incentive. So I love how you use those manners. Get 5 bounces. Oh, great answer, Xavier. Get 10 bounces. So that's how it's used. And the rule is that if somebody bounces on it without permission, it goes away for the day. So they stay off of it because they don't want it to go away. And it's like everything else. It's about setting those procedures and expectations and being very consistent with them, especially at the beginning of the year.
From Lauren, what kind of report card do you have, and do you like it?
We use Infinite Campus, and it's a standards-based report card. It is what it is. I don't think it conveys what the kids can do and what they know. I don't think it gives the parent. I don't think parents understand it. But it is what it is.
From Ms. Hudgens, do you write a weekly newsletter?
Yes. Sometimes I forget, but I do try to write one. It's very simple. It lets parents know what we're learning in every subject, and any announcements I need to make, and usually what we're doing for Mad Science and Foodie Fun Friday.
So you talked about the trampoline. I think you kind of already answered this question, but Holly asked, how do you keep your kids from jumping on the trampoline all day?
So the rule is if somebody jumps on it without permission, it gets put away for the whole day. So there's a lot of peer pressure not to do it, and again, it's about procedures and expectations.
From Ms. Colt, what's one thing you guys are going to do this summer to relax?
What's relax?
We are busy all summer
I'm pretty
long.
sure. I think I hit the road on Tuesday. We're taking a week-long vacation in Washington State.
Yeah.
So
we got a conference up there the first week of July, so we're going to chill out for the week prior.
Yeah, so we're going to do the Pacific Northwest.
And then it is game on after that for the rest of July.
Yep.
Nonstop.
And our apartment complex has a pool, so we'll be there a lot, relaxing, hanging out by the pool when you're here.
When I let you be here. From Valerie.
See, I need my private jet.
Did I hear earlier something about a vocabulary boot camp?
Oh.
No?
No.
You didn't, but that's a good idea.
Oh.
But all the other boot camps.
Oh.
So what are the boot camps that we have? Go.
ABC Boot Camp, Number Boot Camp, Shapes Boot Camp, Word Family Boot Camp, Vowel Boot Camp, Blends Boot Camp, Addition Boot Camp, Subtraction Boot Camp, and Vowel Teams Boot Camp is coming soon.
And
now apparently we're going to do Vocabulary Boot Camp.
And we hope to have them all bundled this summer so that you can buy them in a bundle, but don't hold me to that because it's going to be depending on if I get time to do it or not. but that's our hope.
Yeah. Vocabulary boot camp.
From hey Jesse.
I love that name.
Do you do the same things every year or change them?
But it depends. So like I'm working on our big picture plan. I'll be posting that hopefully in the next couple of days. But like we took out the Olympics because it's not an Olympic year. We took out the election. It's not an election year. So we do change them. Of course, pumpkins will stay. Holidays around the world stays. So the big ones stay, but we do change every year. I'm very excited because next year I put in the human body. So we're going to be learning all about the human body next year, which I'm very excited about.
Stephanie Hoff, will there be submissions during the summer?
Yes, of course. We'll be here. Third Wednesday of every month. Maybe from the pool, but we'll be here.
Other than morning message, from Susie Allen, other than morning message, what ways do you teach concepts of print?
Just when we're reading, when we do our poetry and our emergent reader, our shared reading, guided reading, we do our interactive read alouds.
Any online books this summer?
Actually, we're announcing this later tonight, but my friend Abby from Kindergarten Chaos, we're teaming up again to do another summer book study. It's making the most of small group instruction. So we'll be announcing that tonight on Instagram. So we'll be starting that on June 8th. So it'll be a chapter a week, just like it was last year. So we'll be doing that book study. So make sure to join us. Stay tuned. We'll announce it on Instagram and Facebook later tonight. So you'll know what book to get and how to be a part of that summer book study.
From Michelle, how do you get all the supplies you need for Foodie Fun Friday and Mad Science?
You want to answer that one?
Me. That's how we get them. Greg tells me what to get, and I go out and scurry around the city looking for all the weird little things that he needs.
Most of the time, it's pretty simple stuff.
No, like usually what gets me in trouble is I try to go to one place to get it, and I try to go to the most convenient place, and it turns out not to be the best place. It's usually Kroger, and Kroger will have most of everything, and then there are like one or two items that I need they don't have, and I end up at Walmart, and then I get them. But yeah, it's nothing. Sometimes it's just odd little things that may not. It's something that I don't shop for regularly, so it's not like I know exactly where to go and get it in the store.
Right.
So sometimes I'll have to ask.
And I have found in the past that parents are very willing to help. You just have to kind of plan ahead and think ahead and send home a note saying, hey, we need this. Just don't send home a note and say, hey, we need a box of Twinkies, because last year I did that and all 17 kids brought a box of Twinkies.
Lauren wants to know what type of funding we get for that. Does your school or district provide it?
It's our funding. We pay. But again, parents are willing to help.
And parents want to. They just need to know, you know, like what can, you know, but that's part of, you know, we don't do a lot of that of asking the parents to supply that stuff. We would if we didn't have the means to do it.
Right.
But we have the means to do it, so we just do. That's kind of our way of giving back to the classroom and giving back to the kids and the parents. But again, if I'm positive, because I know today, like for the little ceremony in the classroom, like parents just brought stuff. So, and they weren't asked to bring it, they just did. And so I know if you were to say, hey parents, we need this, you know, they're gonna bring it for you. So, and none of it's expensive stuff, really. I mean, I think the most I spend when Greg wants me to go out for Foodie Fun Friday is maybe $20, $30 usually, max. So if you ask a couple parents, that's $10, $15 from a couple, you know. So just about planning it, I think. Just know what you're going to want to do the week ahead.
Yep.
And maybe send something out the prior week and say, hey, next week we're going to be doing this, and you provide these, you know.
And organizing it so you don't get 17 boxes of Twinkies. Not that we complain, because we love those Twinkies.
How do you get past the puke, Miranda says?
You know, the bizarre thing, the puke does not bother me. The pee does not bother me. The blood does not bother me. The only thing that gets me with my kids are their teeth. The loose teeth, the wiggly teeth, I cannot do it. I would rather them puke and bleed and pee and poop all over the place and all over me than to come anywhere near me with those loose teeth. Doesn't bother me at all. The teeth,
people want to see the doodles, so I'll let them out.
Yeah, we can't see them.
Do you do sharing time, show and tell?
No. During morning meeting, we have a sharing time. So Monday, everybody gets to share, and then the rest of the week, I pick 3 volunteers to share. So we do have sharing time, it's just not show and tell.
All right, that's all of our questions.
All right.
A couple things before we go, though. I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to please go and check out our new conference website. Even if you're not coming to the conference, please go and check it out. We're proud of it. We just got it up in the last week or so. It's just elevateyourclassroom.com. On there, we have lots of cool little links that you can click on that tells you about the conference. You can register directly from there. We've got some other fun things that are going to be coming, more about the Debbie Smedley Scholarship Fund that are going to be on the website. So if you will, go and check that out for me. Just take a quick look. Give me your feedback. There's also a place on there, a cool little feature where you can tell us where you want to see the next Elevate conference. So we're kind of using that as a way to compile where we want the next conference to be. So that we know there's going to be one in California, more than likely San Diego. That's going to be probably in February. But we want to know where else we need to go. So if you guys go to that website, there's a way for you to give us that information. Another thing I want you guys to know about the Elevate conference, and that is something that happened this past week. And it was from a friend of ours who sells LuLaRoe and some of her other consultants and friends. They did an amazing fundraiser for us. They did a fundraiser where, and some of you that are watching now, you may have participated in that fundraiser, where a portion of the proceeds from an event that they did over the weekend went to the Debbie Smedley Memorial Scholarship Fund. And what that fund is it gives $500 to one participant at each of our conferences to pay for their registration fee and their travel expenses. So a portion of their proceeds went toward that, and we were able to raise enough money to pay for both of the scholarships for the summer, and maybe even for a third scholarship for our next one. So that was amazing. So Selena, if you happen to be watching tonight, thank you so very much. If anyone that's watching, if you purchased something this weekend through that LuLaRoe event, thank you for purchasing. It means more to us than you know. That scholarship means more to us than you know. So just to have it supported that way, and it wasn't something that we asked for. She came to us and wanted to do it. So it was just amazing. So that was just another way to support this conference that we're doing. Also, be sure to sign up for the newsletter. If you're not signed up already, be sure to sign up for it. We're trying to revamp that a little bit and do a little more with it. So if you've been a part of the newsletter for the last couple of years, you've not gotten a whole lot. We try not to clutter up your inbox, but we're wanting to do more content-driven newsletters. So that's something that we're really working on. So if you've not joined the newsletter, be sure to do that at thekindergartensmorgasbord.com. Just scroll down, and on the right side, you're going to see a way to enter for the newsletter.
And we would love your feedback on the newsletter. If there are things you would like to see in the newsletters, let us know so that we can make it something that works for you and something that benefits you.
Yep.
And we're hitting the road this summer for Elevate. We'll be in Philadelphia and Chattanooga. So you can go to our new Elevate Your Classroom website and you can get all the details and get registered and come join us this summer for Elevate. And I think that's it.
I think
it is. As always, we always end with hashtag happy classrooms. And so I know the school year is winding down for a lot of us, but that doesn't mean that we can't continue our Happy Classrooms mission. The mission of Happy Classrooms is to spread all of the positivity and to share all of the amazing things that are happening in our classrooms and in our schools and in our profession. And we know there's so much negativity out there about teachers and about schools and about education. Hashtag Happy Classrooms is our way to combat that negativity and drown out that negativity. So I encourage you to post every day one positive thing about school, about teaching, about your classroom, about education, and use the hashtag Happy Classrooms so that we can let our communities and our world know just how amazing teachers are, how incredible our schools are, and most importantly, how amazing our students are. So I want to see tons of hashtag Happy Classrooms posts this summer. When you're out and you buy supplies for your kids, or when you're in professional development, or when you're reading professional learning, when you're doing all of that stuff over the summer to become a better teacher, use the hashtag Happy Classrooms and let the world know that this is what we do in the summer. Yes, we relax, we enjoy our time off, but we're continuing to grow and learn and become better teachers so that we can be better in our classrooms. So start spreading the positivity, #happy classrooms. Everyone have a fantastic evening and a fantastic rest of the school year. And we will be back for the submissions in June on the 3rd Wednesday of June. Do we know a date? And we're going to get a date for you as long as there's no new kids on the block to interfere.
The 21st.
So June 21st, same place, same time. We'll be back for submissions for Smorgie Live. And I think that's it. And we'll probably be heading over to Facebook for the Facebook Live after show. So maybe you can catch us there. All right. So everybody have a great night, and we'll talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.